like Jesus, not me. Cause I throw hands. Try Jesus, please don't try me. Because I fight. I know what he said about you.
Everybody, this is Rolanda Sumner. I am the CEO and founder of Life After Service Transitional Coaching. And today I am with my friends, Yeside Davis and LaTorcha Polati is about to hop on. And we are going to talk about our thoughts on how Will Smith chose violence when it came to Chris Rock. This is not a business podcast or episode. We are recording live, so our thoughts might be raw. And if it's something you choose not to participate in, that's absolutely okay. There'll be another business-related episode coming out soon. But today we're going to focus on Will Smith smacking Chris Rock back into the womb. How you doing, Yeside A?
I'm doing really, really well. I feel great today.
Awesome. So, why don't you get started? Talk to me about your feelings about what Will Smith did last night.
Well, I did my due diligence because I did not watch the Oscars. I didn't even know it was Oscar night. I'm more likely to watch the NAACP Image Awards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I did look up the clips of the incident.
Yeah.
And I support Will. That's my feelings. I believe there are times to choose violence, and this was one of those times.
Okay, so talk to me about why you support him.
I support him in honoring, protecting his wife. She wasn't in physical harm, but from what I saw, the expression on her face. I don't know if you saw the clip, any clips with the expression on her face when this joke came out. So I feel like he did what he felt he needed to do, and I back him 100% on that. I think I have a lot of thoughts. I'll just wait for the questions part so I can. But to start, I support Will. I would have done the same thing.
I too support Will Smith on this because I'm gonna state my 3 little reasons, and then we can go on from there because I can go on for days about this. 1, I'm proud of Will Smith. I appreciate what he did because he basically sent the message across, society that it picking on a Black woman because of her hair is not okay. Mm-hmm. And I felt like he protected all Black women when he made that move. Do I think he should choose violence always? No. But this one time was absolutely supported. 2, Chris Rock just made a movie 13 years ago, and I know just sounds crazy, but he made a movie in 2009 called Good Hair.
Yep, I've watched it.
Yes, focusing on Black women and our hair and the poison we put in it, all the things we do to try to look good and stuff. And then he makes this joke. He must have forgot about how he was supposed to be like an advocate for us. 3, she said in September that she had alopecia. And that's why many women, not all, honestly, I don't believe you need a reason to shave it off, but that's why a lot of women nowadays shave their hair because they have alopecia, regardless if it's a medical issue or alopecia is just a medical issue in general. But regardless of the reason they have alopecia, it's just easier to maintain when you don't have any. And it's good to see your face. So those are my reasons why I support it.
All good reasons. I did, when Good Hair came out, I watched Good Hair, and the premise was this idea of what do Black women go through to have this alleged good hair.
Yes.
I am a natural girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been natural. I tried it in college for the first time. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
stick, but in my adult life, I have been natural since, oh gosh, my youngest son is now 14. So it's been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a lot of comments of, well, you can be natural because you have good hair. Natural hair isn't for everybody. You have to have good hair to be natural. If your hair isn't good, then you need a relaxer.
That's
S-
crazy.
That infuriates me because I know other people feel this way, and I feel this way too. Is that good hair is hair that is in good condition? It's healthy. It is good. Not about the texture of my hair. That's not what makes it good. Some people's texture is naturally more coarse than others. Mine is not coarse. So I therefore have good. You can't see my air quotes, but I have good hair, and I can be natural.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. Like, oh, you've got a pretty head, and your hair is so when it's wet and when it's long, it's curly. Um,
Hmm.
it's not loose curls, but it's still curly. And so I've heard the same thing. And I don't think there is any type of good hair. I think people with, 4Z hair that doesn't coil up and stuff is just as beautiful as if you have big fluffy curls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, honestly, sometimes I wish my hair was like that because it seems to hold styles like forever. My hair is soft, so I would go to the hairdresser and like 30 minutes later it'd be flat.
Yeah. And speaking, you mentioned 4C and all. I don't even get into all of that.
Mhm.
I don't like people be like, what's your hair type? I don't know. For me, that's just, I mean, you need to know the texture of your hair to get the correct products and things.
Yeah,
But I feel like even with that, it can be divisive. Like
yeah.
unless you have this type of curl pattern, you shouldn't be natural. And so yeah, I don't buy into any of that. People ask me, what products do you use? I don't buy a lot of products because a lot of people say, oh, I couldn't be natural because it was too expensive. It's expensive when you're buying lots of products because then you get people who don't like the shrinkage. I just let my hair do what it does. And you've seen my hair.
Yeah, you have beautiful hair. This is
If it shrinks, it just shrinks. you
at
know?
one time I was a hair product junkie and I've been natural several times over the course of 15 or so years.
Hmm.
I've like gone natural, gone back to the curly, creamy crack, gone natural. Like I've gone back and forth. I had locks, which I miss my locks, but
Oh gosh, me too.
digress.
I miss mine. I miss mine so much.
I want to grow my locks out, but then now I just don't want to go through that ugly phase of growing my hair out because I've gotten used to it being super duper short or just bald. Um,
Hmm.
I've gotten used to because I don't have to do anything. Like I can literally just get up and go. I
Yeah,
have to
that is great.
yeah, before work tomorrow anyway. But yeah, I used to have like all these products and they are not cheap. Once you start collecting, it's not
Right.
just trying to figure out what works for my hair. And now I like mix up some old inexpensive but oldie but goodies and smear that on my hair and I'm good.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I get some deep conditioner. I'll try out different shampoos. I'm not like I used to be when I had to have my hair have like that club look where it was like frozen and had the gel.
Hmm.
It's just right. I don't care about that stuff now.
Me either. I'm not. I know a lot of people, a lot of natural girls. They try to control their edges. I let my edges do what they do. I'm not trying to slick them down. Hey, just
Listen, I am grown. I am not a baby. Even when I was a baby, I don't think my edges wanted to behave. Like they was like, what? Like when I was in school and edges was popular when you used to use like that hard
yeah,
gel and
yeah,
Vaseline. Even then my
yeah.
edges was like, no, no, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't buy into any of it. I just let of course I may try to style my curls, but as far as products and worrying about if my edges are laid down, I don't care about any of it. And for women and young girls who like the way that looks, that is also fine. but
Yeah.
I'm more concerned in why you want it to look that way.
Yeah.
This,
So
for me, is always the why of a thing.
LaTorcha just dropped in. Hey, LaTorcha.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey.
Hi.
So we just started the conversation as to if, well, we first start off and we discuss if we weren't supportive of Will Smith, slapping Chris Rock. What do you feel?
Well, I believe that Will Smith could have handled it better.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Rock is a comedian, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but because of the issues that Will and Jada has been having, he had to. It was like either do it now or I lose face with my wife.
Uh-huh.
Now, it could have been handled a different way.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at the video, when he talked about G.I. Jane, her face, you could see instantly she was hurt
Yeah.
by what he said because, having alopecia. But, my daughter has it. So I know the sensitivity involved in it,
Mm-hmm.
how it causes you to feel a certain way. So I'm pretty sure her and Will have probably already talked about it.
Yeah.
And so he had to save face to say, I'm going to stand up for my wife. But at the same time, that could have been done a different way.
True.
He could have walked up and said something to him. He could have just waited and had a conversation later. But it just made him look like he was not able to handle a situation.
I mean, and that's a great point. You're right. I still support him in the violence.
Yeah.
I think it was like one of those just gut reactions. Like he didn't think about it.
Yeah.
It was, you make in front of my wife, you see her face, I gotta protect her. And I feel like Chris Rock took advantage of the fact that their relationship is teetering.
Yep.
I think
I'm
he
with
was
you on
like,
that.
well, y'all fighting, so I'm gonna lean in, which
Mhm.
I feel like it was really disrespectful. Like, this woman got alopecia and hair is extraordinarily important to us. Why would you dig in now? There's so many other things you could have done.
But I also think that I don't think he really took advantage of it because if you really look at the location of where Will and Jada were sitting,
Mm-hmm.
they wasn't sitting beside each other. They wasn't, and so to me, yes, I think he was trying to protect his wife. I think he was trying to show that you're not going to talk about my wife. I don't think that Chris Rock did it intentionally. I think
Mm-hmm.
because she was on the front row,
Mm-hmm.
she caught his eye. Now, I don't believe that the violence was the best way to go.
Yeah.
I understand that he could have done anything. He could have stood up and say, hey, she has a situation, or hey, let's talk about this later, don't say anything else. But what Will did in the violence made him look ignorant. And then on top of that, he went back to the seat and on the broadcast, you're cussing and yelling, telling him to keep your wife's name out of his mouth, but he never said her name. And so it's like, how do you handle that? Like, as a husband that's already having marital problems and have a stressed relationship, how do I stand up for my wife without me now looking bad?
I think the looking bad part depends on who's looking at it. To me, he didn't look bad. And Chris did, he said her name when he made the joke. Jada, I love you, girl. Can't wait for Jai Jane to whatever.
Okay, you're right.
But I think that I don't think he was saving face, but we're not in the intricate, dynamics of whatever they have in their marriage right now. I think he did that because he really wanted to protect his wife and how she was feeling in that moment. And I was also listening to audience reaction. I heard some laughter, but to my ear, it sounded like some strained laughter. you know, and then Chris was like, oh, come on, that was a nice one, because they wasn't that into the joke, right? and so could he have done something later? Talk to him later? He could have. That is true. But I also believe there are times where you act up is where you get jacked up.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that was one of those times for me, in my opinion.
Meredith Hammond from the Go Be Great Sisterhood, she said she didn't agree. I'm looking on Facebook right now. So she said, I don't support the slap. Did Chris know she had alopecia? And I believe, how can he not have known? She has been very open and public about the alopecia. However, I do respect what you're saying. A lot of people don't support Will Smith laying hands on him. So that does make sense. Hold on for a second.
You know, I think if he would have not said anything when he went back to the seat, they could have played it off like that was what was planned. Because when Chris Rock came back, his reaction wasn't, he didn't get angry, he didn't start cussing, you know, he made it into a joke. And so it could have played off like this was something that they had planned for the actual show. But at the same time, you know, I feel that, of course, Will Smith was in the wrong. You know, and honestly, even though you said that, you know, she's been open about alopecia, I never knew until today that she had alopecia, because she's always, since I've known her, had a short haircut.
That's just what Meredith Hammond said. She said that Jada has rocked low cuts before, as well as her daughter, and that is also a good point. You know, like,
yeah, it is, because I don't know if Chris knew, but I know that there's according to what I've read, there's some kind of, he's made jabs at her before, at Jada before. Like, there's some history between Chris, Will, and Jada that we may not be fully aware of.
Yeah.
But this was just one of those moments where it could have been the straw that broke the camel's back type situation. And you're going to have all sides. You're going to have those who support the laying on of hands and those who don't. So I think the discourse that needs to happen can be a respectful discourse in the aftermath of this, and we all can share our opinions, which is what we're doing. I'm here for it. And I know, Rolanda, you wanted to talk about some other things regarding Black hair.
So before I get go on, Valencia Williams, she is a weight loss and wellness coach, and she says because Chris Rock has done a full presentation before about hair, that joke should have never been in his mouth at all. My personal belief.
I'm with that.
I agree. Don't you made a whole movie about this, and then you're gonna crack on somebody's hair.
Yeah.
So then it makes it seem, you know, was it personal? And like you said, we don't know. We don't know if this was the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, but you can see how angry Will was. You know, I saw someone on Facebook, and I didn't look at his video, but he was talking about how, you know, now they're trying to say that because he's been doing stuff in Africa that is a demonic, and I'm like, really?
What? Come on now, stop
it.
Let's just get upset.
Oh my God!
Like, don't be silly. He just got annoyed.
We can go into so many different ways because that was so out of character for Will Smith.
Yeah.
Or was it in character? You know what I mean? I saw somebody post about somebody who's read his book. I have not, where he seems to be reveal more of who he really is in his book. That may just be Will. We all have seen celebrities who we have created this image, or the image that was given to us, we accepted. And so we're shocked when they do things. You know, we were shocked about Whitney because she was America's sweetheart, you know? Yeah. So is this the real Will? The
Right, but
one,
that's what I was
not the Will who was at the red table with the puffy eyes. That, this one, like, look, I'm just gonna take you down. I've read people talking about you didn't do August like that, which we don't know. We don't know what he did to August, but we know that they were separated and that hurt. There was hurt with all of that, but it's so much that we don't know. We only have this moment at the Oscars last night. I feel like reactions may have shifted if it would have been at a Black-centered award show, and that is my opinion on that.
As I was about to say, I'm sorry, we kept trying to overtalk each other, but what I was saying to finish the conversation, or to finish what the point I was trying to make is, I said that that's not his character, but I was going on to say,
I'm so sorry, LaTorcha.
No, you're fine. We don't know what he's dealt with, what he's been dealing with, what is his mental,
yeah,
he's going through. And I'm always about the mask. He could have surely he could have had the mask on prior to, but now because of everything that's going on, he just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm gonna redirect the comment to hair care, like black hair, and such. So this is another reason why I was like for the slap, because we are ridiculed as Black women. We are ridiculed. Like we can't do anything without having to justify it and stand up for ourselves again. And oftentimes we're not supported, or at least not supported enough, I think. And so I feel like this was, though it wasn't planned and it wasn't the ideal way to support his wife, I do believe, and I feel like, he's not only did he stand up for his wife, he stood up for all bald Black women who have or do not have alopecia for whatever reason they choose to shave it off. And it annoys me for women, period, that our femininity and our beauty is questioned by the amount of hair that we have on our head. Like a man can shave his hair off and he's fine, but a woman shaves her hair off and it's like, there's all kinds of names. And I'm not saying anything against the LGBT community. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is there's no opportunity for us to be whoever we want to be because of our hair. Like if we don't have hair down to the floor, we're not feminine enough. We're not beautiful enough. There's a whole entire industry that we've all participated in some way, shape, or form that wants to add hair onto us. And I feel like we're going into an age that it's like, no, take it off. It's okay to take it off. We just have way too many women who, are losing their hair for various health reasons. And then we're trying to figure out how we're going to keep the hair on. Oh, should I put more hair on? So I put a hot, tight wig on? What should I do to cover up the fact that I have this going on? I think I'm going to be ugly. I think I'm going to look like a boy. So I feel like when he stood up for his wife, he stood up for all Black women who run into that space, of having to justify cutting their hair off. Like, oh, I don't know if my man is going to leave me.
Yep.
Is our relationship really contingent on how much hair we have?
Ooh. Sometimes it is. My grandfather, God rest his soul, he was the best. When I first went natural, he didn't like that because he is a long, straight hair type. And then when I got my locks, when I started my locks and they started growing, he just straight up asked me if I was gay, because when he see the girls on TV with hair like mine, they was gay. and then when I cut my locks off and I was keeping it super short, especially on the sides, he's like, "What are you doing?" I don't like that. You need to grow your hair back and it need to be straight. You know, he was 80 something years old. You know, so our relationship with our hair is impacted by the people around us. I've dated men who are like, I like long hair. If your hair ain't long, make it long. Grow it or buy it, whatever.
Yeah, why? I mean, it's ridiculous. Valencia said that I have postpartum depression at its worst, and I cut off my hair without giving anyone a heads up. Not even my husband. It was a shock to him, but he still rocked with me. Girl, I feel you.
Yeah.
I have never really given my husband full permission to tell me what I should do with my hair. And we've been together a long time. I know my husband like full thick afro hair, but I have had dreadlocks from like the stub all the way down to my shoulders and the ugly phase in between. I have shaved my head bald more than one time. I have had it dyed and permed and long and short. And he's never said, you know, gotten mad or said, "Hey, I'm gonna leave you because of your hair."
Yeah.
Also, society.
And then when I cut my locks off and I was keeping it,
leave you because of your hair. Oops,
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm trying to read the comments and then I turn on the volume on Facebook. Sorry, maybe.
But I also believe, you know, society has tried to dictate how a woman should look.
Yep.
How a woman should be. If you're not 5'5" with brown eyes, then you're really like, you know, you have something wrong with you. Or if your hair is not flowing and blowing in the wind, then you can't walk into a room and demand respect. If you walk in with dreads, they're gonna look at you some type of way. And I think if we get to a place where we start teaching ourselves and the young woman that's coming after us to just love yourself, and it does not matter, then we won't fall easily into those things. You know, one of the movies that I thought about when Yeside was talking was how the movie Something New. And when she was dating the black man, he wanted her to have the tracks in her hair. But when she with the Caucasian white man, he wanted her to just be natural.
Yeah.
And it was such a dynamic in the way we view how to be a woman, how to be free.
And you know, Sanaa Lathan, she was also in Something New wasn't all about her hair, but I don't know if y'all watched Nappily Ever After.
Yes.
Now that movie was about her hair, and she cut her hair off in real life for that movie. So if y'all haven't watched, she looked great.
I thought.
Watch it, go watch it. Yeah.
And her mom had a problem with it. Her mom was old school. You know, she's like, "Why did you cut your hair? You did what?" It was this whole thing, but she seemed to have really felt better about herself. There's something about getting down to the root of things, getting down to the root of your hair and actually seeing it, that forces you to see your own beauty, that forces you to sit back and say, you know what, I am beautiful. You know, I love
even when my daughter cut her hair off, I instantly knew it was beautiful to me because she has cared for it. You know, I loved how it was. But my sister and my mom, they had a problem and they tried to make her feel uncomfortable. And so I'm so thankful that she called me while they was in the car, and they didn't have time to like make her feel bad about her decision. And you know, her hair, she looks beautiful. You know, they was like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay when it grows back." Oh,
that's the part right there, LaTorcha. When it grows back, then it'll be pretty.
Yeah, and that's a shame, you know.
It is.
I've seen her with bald hair. She a cutie.
Yeah.
She's a cutie. I remember when my daughter, she's biracial, so she has that big fluffy curly hair, and she's always had it really long. The shortest she's had it before, the time I'm about to talk about, was on her shoulders. But she had some surgeries last year, and it took her hair. Like her hair was breaking off in clumps in the hospital. So she was like, okay, I need to cut it. I was really surprised because scissors in my daughter's hair. She's like, no, but she's like, I have to cut it. Okay, great. And she looks so adorable with the little short cut. She got a lot of compliments and such, and she's since grown it back. But I know, like, at first it hurt her. She tried to play brave and whatnot, but I know it hurt her that she had to cut her hair. She's like, I'm gonna look like a boy. I was like, you can never look like a boy, girl. Bye.
Yeah, just gonna look like her with short hair.
Little face.
Yeah. Hair is a thing. What was Angela Bassett's character in Waiting to Exhale cut all her hair off?
Yeah, Bernadette.
Yeah, Bernadette, and she's in the salon and her friend's cutting her hair and mad about it, like as she's cutting it, like, why are you doing this after 11 years? You've been growing it out. Loretta Devine's character.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's hair. It'll come back, and if it doesn't, there's so many ways to make it look all natural. Like it's hair.
Yeah. Our hair is versatile. I think that's one of the great things about Black women's hair. It is so versatile. I love my hair in all its stages. When it was super short, when it was relaxed, I loved it. I didn't like the maintenance of relaxed hair because you got to avoid water and all that. Yeah. That's one reason I went natural.
Rain is kryptonite.
Yeah, I liked my locks. I liked the process of going through it, which it's hard for some people because it's like you got a lot going on when you're trying to lock it up, Yeah. I like all of it. And I like wearing wigs,
I don't like wigs. I'm a baby. I don't like wigs because they're hot and they're uncomfortable. I will wear a head wrap all times of the year proudly.
Yeah, I like head wraps.
I don't like doing my hair anymore. It's so much hair.
Now that part, yeah.
It's so much. And my hair, like, people be like, oh, put in twist outs and stuff, but my hair never complied. Like, I don't care what I put in it. It was just not going to twist out. It was just going to look crazy. So I like it short. I toy around with the idea of growing it all the way out, but then I get to a point where I'm like, oh, it's starting to look ugly. So then I get the clippers out.
Yeah. I know you're going to get into like crown acting stuff.
Yes.
And so I wanted to say that when I lived in California, I was already natural by then. And I had a friend out who's native to there, and she was like, you have to straighten your hair when you go on interviews. I'm like, why? They're not gonna hire you if your hair if it's like that. Which, like that being curly, the way it grows out of my scalp.
Right.
There's nothing really that I could do, like put it in a neat ponytail or put a bun or something that was going to make it look straight. It could be neat, but still not straight, And so I'm like out there flat ironing my hair with at the salon with Marcel irons.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, those. I mean, it was super straight and shiny, but I'm just like, but I don't want it to be straight. Now, if I want to have it straight, sometimes cool, but I didn't like feeling like I have to have straight hair to just get through an interview, hoping that I will get hired.
Right. Valencia, she said, again, because we've seen so many movies and have loved ones and or know someone dealing with hair struggles, I just feel like hair jokes should not be. This goes for all comedians. I agree.
Yeah.
And not just for Black women. I mean, for any woman. Any woman. There are kids, little girls and boys out here who have alopecia so much that their hair will never grow in, or their hair will never grow in pretty. They have to shave their hair. They have to draw in their eyebrows and stuff. So I agree. Keep it tasteful. And I like a crazy joke. I can take raunchy jokes. I can take most jokes, but I think today I think today is just it just proved like we can't take these things for granted.
Yeah, I agree. It upsets me that we have to have something like the Crown Act to be protected in the workplace about how our hair is.
Girl.
Now, am I thankful it's in place so we can do it? But at the same time, why is that even necessary?
So those of you who don't know, the Crown Act is legislation that have been put out to protect predominantly African American women, but any woman or any person who wants to wear their hair in its natural state. Any person. And the reason I emphasize any persons is because there are Caucasians who choose to wear locks. Their hair will lock up if they don't have, if they don't comb it, just like Black people take longer, but their hair will lock up. So
Yeah,
I say any person, because, it's important that folks understand that this is not just about, Black hair. Though the Black women are, we tend to have the most backlash when it comes to natural hair.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
So it just passed last week, and I remember when it was shut down, I think by the Supreme Court a couple of years ago. This one woman got fired, and she took it all the way through the Supreme Court, and they were like, "Nope, it's okay." And then she kept going, and voila, a few years later, we have the Crown Act. It shouldn't have to be that way, because the way I wear my hair does not dictate my intelligence. It doesn't outline my my skill. Companies they're losing folks, they're losing people, they're losing diversity because they want to judge somebody by their hair, which is stupid and it's useless.
I can't remember the news anchor who was wearing her natural hair and got so much backlash. Do y'all know her name? But
Yes,
it was a whole thing.
Yes, I can't remember her name. If you guys know, let me know. I think it's Tamara or something like that. But yeah, she ended
You're
up
on
leaving.
TV. You can't be on TV with your hair looking like that. Go do something with your head.
It goes back to look at the gymnast that could
Gabby.
Yes, Gabby, and look at all the things she could do. But yet when they talked about her hair. She's through the air, she's sweating, and you're worried about her hair not being
right. All things I can't do. The only thing that she can do that I can also do is sweat.
Right.
Flying through the air, can I?
Right. And so it's like, and it's sad that they take away so much from who we are because of our hair. We already have a struggle of, no matter, being a Black woman, when you walk into the office place, you have to do extra to meet someone that's doing just bare minimum. So in able to be equal, we have to do above and beyond. And then we have to worry about, we have to watch our tone, how we say it, because, we're going to be an angry Black woman.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we have to make sure our hair is at certain, so you can like me, so you can have me in meetings. And it's just
make us more palatable.
Right.
So Valencia said the broadcaster's name was Tashara Parker.
Thank you, Valencia.
Thank you. Yes. And she's gorgeous. She's professional. This is the thing about it. Like, people will say we're not professional because of our hair.
Because of our hair, yeah.
But it's ridiculous, because I can be more professional than my colleagues, work harder than my colleagues, come up with more innovative ideas than my colleagues. And yet everything else is still in question. We don't know if we should, have you in front, or we're going to give the promotion to someone else. Or the microaggression that you feel, oh, you have a different haircut today. And
That
Okay,
part.
so I had long hair yesterday. Today I have a bob. Tomorrow I'll probably have a pixie. Your point. Don't be mad because you don't have the courage to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I worked for a nonprofit, and when I first started working there, I was heavy in my wig phase. I had all kinds of wigs. And then one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finally do something with my hair, because I was just like, didn't want to do anything with it. So I put a wig on. And so I came into the office, and we did not have that many people there. I was like one of 3 Black people, but it's still people managed not to recognize me right away.
It doesn't make sense. Like
Because I had a puff or whatever.
Listen, they recognized you. They just didn't want to say, instead of just not saying anything and acting like your hair is like your skin, it's on you. They want to be like, oh, I didn't even recognize you. You lied.
Lie. It's only 3 Black people here.
Right? Now, if I'm an X or a Z, then you know it's me. Stop playing. We're gonna start to wrap up because I know you listen, y'all. I did them dirty. I had already recorded a podcast episode, and then we got on our little group chat, and I was like, yeah, you guys, I'll do it again if you guys do it with me. And I just we're with our avatars. We have our avatars on right now because I was like, no, we gotta get on right now. So
Listen,
I kind of interrupted their morning. They had just started with their day. So I'm gonna wrap this up. And give everybody their space to have their closing comments and such. At the end of the day, I appreciate what he did. I understand it was not professional. It's not good for his image. It brings up a lot of questions about who he is as a person. It could have been dealt with completely different and more professional, and a lot more calm. However, being one of the Black women amongst millions or even trillions, I appreciated it because it is sending the message that it's not okay. That it's not, it's time to stop the judgment, the ridicule. It's time to stop ostracizing us because of how we choose to wear hair or their lack of. And so it also demonstrated that Black men do love their women. I don't care how far apart they sat. It doesn't matter to me if they was on totally opposite sides. He cared enough about her to stand up for her. He didn't have to lay hands. I get it. He didn't have to smack him back into his ancestors. But I think it shows the message there are boundaries and they shouldn't be crossed. And maybe next time before you come down on someone in their hair, regardless of their ethnicity, their race, their skin color, you might think about that slap.
Yeah.
LaTorcha, what are your final comments?
Of course, I don't think he should have slapped him. I think I even support him walking up to him and taking the mic and saying something like, about his wife or about Black women as a whole. But at the same time, I understand what he, in that moment, because he didn't think about anything else. All he could do, because I can only imagine if that was my daughter, who we were sitting in there among millions of people. And, I know the issues that she's going through with her hair. And for you to crack a joke on what is so sensitive to her, I don't know how I would react. I would like to say that I would have been calm, cool, and collected. But if I would have looked over and saw my baby with the same face that Jada had, or even tears in her eyes, I probably would have reacted a little bit different. So I'm not saying what he did was right, but what I'm saying is I understand, because you don't know what your reaction is going to be when the time comes, when someone that you love is hurting right beside you and you have nothing else to do. But I also believe he should have understood before he even made the comment. Like we said, if he have been talking about hair and you did a show about hair, then you should know that a Black woman's hair is off limits. You know, it's just like I had to tell my husband, please let your friends know, don't touch my hair.
Right?
Braids, whatever it is, just let them know not to touch my hair, because that is something that is sacred to me. Whether it's natural and braids,
It's
you know,
disrespectful.
but have my, you know, give me my space. Don't come into my bubble. But you know, but I will, from this day forth, I bet Chris would never come out of his mouth again
I bet you
about hair. So that's, you know, even though it was a bad situation, something's good is going to come out of it. Now, Will's going to probably have to pay him some money.
Yeah.
Will's probably going to have to, you know, there's going to probably be a lawsuit, and he can't say he didn't do it because it was broadcast. But he knows. Now I think he knows.
I hope Chris Rock doesn't sue him over this. I hope he understands, like, hey man, you crossed the line, and if we weren't famous, I'm gonna need you to take that on the chin. Like, you would have had to take it on the chin. So I hope he takes it on the chin and understands, like, man to man, you know, the line was crossed, and leave it like that. If he does go for money, then, you know, he's in his right to do so, but I hope he doesn't. Yeside A, what are your thoughts on it?
I support Will in what he did. That moment was how he chose to protect his wife. When Willow was way younger, she got backlash, and so did her parents, because she had shaved her head that time. And they made statements about it. They didn't have one person to go to, but in this case, he knew who to go to protect his wife. And so I definitely support that, and I would have done the same thing if it would have been my daughter. And I would hope that my husband or even my father would have done that for me, given the privilege that Will has. And I think he would, in that moment, probably was aware of the privilege that he has. If he wants money, he can have money. I'm to slap him, you know? So I think you can make up your mind to do something quickly and decide quickly that you're going to take the consequences.
Yeah, I'm going to take this one on the chin.
Yeah, and so I support him.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in this live podcast. It will be published within the next few days. I have to chop it into 2 separate episodes, and it will probably push back some of the material that I already have scheduled. But I hope you guys have learned something from this, that you've gotten something wonderful from this conversation. We clearly have different perspectives about how it should have been handled, but I think we all agree that the age of ridiculing a woman's, particularly a woman of color, about her hair is coming to an end. And I'm so happy about that, because, you know, there's just too many excuses why we can't be treated as respectfully and with as much reverence as other women of other ethnicities and colors do. Thank you again. Stay tuned. I'll probably have it posted. My podcast is on Anchor FM /BLPS, Anchor FM /BLPS. LaTorcha, tell us how we can find you, ma'am.
You can find me on www.LaTorchaPolati.com. You can find me on Facebook, LaTorcha Highlyfavored Polati. That's it. Oh, and Instagram, I am LaTorcha Polati.
And Yeside, where can we find you, ma'am?
You can find me on Instagram at Get Your Bliss. You can find me on TikTok. I started TikTok, my goodness. Also at Get Your Bliss. And on Facebook as Yeside A. Davis.
Okay. And if you got, I like these live podcast episodes. I'm gonna have to do more of them because I get bored talking to myself. So if you are a coach, a part of the Go Be Great Sisterhood, you're part of the $29 package, and you are a coach, a practicing coach, and you want to be interviewed on my platform, reach out to me via DM so we can set it up, and I will verify that Meredith, if you remember or not. Make sure you hit up LaTorcha and Yeside A. They have awesome programs to help you become your better self. And I love you guys. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.